Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thanks for joining us. My name is Linda Kingman, and on behalf of our team at the Grossman Group, I'd like to welcome you to our webinar today. We know that you are busier than ever, so it's not easy taking time from your schedule, but we appreciate it, and we think you will find that your time is well spent today. As leaders of teams, your work will have a tremendous impact on how your organization weathers this storm of these unprecedented times that we're in. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. We want to make sure we're addressing the issues that are most on your mind, so please use the chat function to submit your questions. We'll be monitoring it throughout the presentation, and then we'll ask your questions towards the end. If we don't get to your question today, we will post a Q&A on our blog, and we're happy to follow up with you individually as needed. Most of you know David Grossman, who will facilitate our session today. David founded the Grossman Group 20 years ago and continues to serve as our CEO. We specialize in leadership, change, and communication, and working with companies and organizations to provide them with insights, tools, and resources so that they can align their workforce. David, in addition to leading the Grossman Group, is an author, speaker, and advisor to Fortune 500 leaders. He helps leaders drive productivity and performance through effective communication. His latest book, No Cape Needed, offers simple, fast steps to improve how leaders can communicate and lead, especially during times of uncertainty like those that we're in now. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to David.
Terrific. Thank you, Linda. Good day, everybody. One of the things I know for sure as we head through this COVID-19 outbreak is that there are times where I often feel very powerless. In my heart, I know we're going to make it through this together. What that new normal will look like, I'm not quite sure. I'm living this very much at the same time all of you are. What I do know, and that gives me comfort during times of change and challenge like these, is to think about what I can do to help. And that's what today is all about. There is so much that we know about how to lead and how to communicate in times of uncertainty with your head, with your heart, with your guts during these challenging times. I want to help you be prepared to lead your teams and your organizations even more effectively with some tips and tools and strategies that are helpful for you today. My intention is at the end of this broadcast, you'll walk away with 2 to 3 actionable tips or strategies or takeaways that when you implement them will have the greatest positive impact on how you lead and how you communicate. I want to help you excel at communications during this very challenging time. Here's one of my favorite Martin Luther King Jr. quotes. The measure of a great person is not what they do in times of comfort and convenience, but where they stand at times of challenge. And clearly, this is a time of challenge. Said another way, it's relatively easy to lead when times are good. It takes much more courage and heart and grit to lead when times are tough. So let's talk for a minute about the pivotal role that you play. I like to think about it this way. You make the weather. I used to work for a leader at McDonald's. I'd always check with his assistant before I met with him to find out, was it a cloudy with a chance of showers kind of day, or was there a tornado warning in my future? You might have worked for someone like this during your career. He didn't realize the power he had to make the weather, the power of his emotions, and that power as leaders, we can misuse that, especially during challenging times. We get angry or upset, or in this case, use fear and take it out on others. We all have the opportunity to use our emotions for good. So how do we set ourselves up to be in the best position possible to use that power for good? That's why your role as leaders, more important than ever today, more challenging than ever before. Your mood, your emotional state will dictate whether it's a sunny day or whether there's a different kind of weather coming in the future. So as we all work through this time of challenge, Today, I'll share with you the Great 8. These are strategies that work. I've got tips and tools and time savers you can use right away to help you lead during these challenging times. And the emphasis here is to lead with heart. And as Linda mentioned, we'll save some time for Q&A. Love to hear what's on your minds, what's working for you, or what have got you thinking about at the end of this broadcast. When I think about leading with heart, I think of a strong sense of self, of wisdom, of humility, courage, serving others, transparency, authenticity. How powerful would it be if more of us could bring forward these qualities during these very difficult times? What kind of weather would we make for ourselves and for others? So with that, here's the Great 8. The first is to lead yourself first. I talked a moment ago about a strong sense of self as one of the qualities of leading with heart. To be in the best position to lead others, you need to first take care of yourself. Much like when you get on a plane, the flight attendant says, in the rare case of an emergency, put on your oxygen mask and then help others. We need to lead with that same mentality, prioritizing yourself and your needs. The purpose of self-care is to make sure that our emotional state is always in an appropriate place. So self-care here means we're managing our emotions. So we're not taking them out on other people. And the best part about self-care too is that means we're able to be available to those who need us. So this is going to look differently for each of us, whether it's eating well, whether it's getting exercise, getting fresh air, meditating, self-reflecting. You get the idea. This is all about taking care of you so you can be in the best position to help others. And the watchword for me here is gentle. How might you be gentle with yourself as you want to be with others? To be compassionate, to listen to your own thoughts and feelings, to care for yourself. Self-compassion is so important because it opens up our capacity to be compassionate to others. So lead yourself first is the first of the Great 8.